Good morning, Michiganders. This is Ryan with Michigan Storm Chasers. We have a severe potential for tomorrow. We're going to go over here very briefly, try to keep this as quick as possible. So, right now, the SPC has a marginal risk encompassing pretty much most of the state, in exception to the very eastern UP and the very eastern parts of the lower peninsula as well. So, Metro Detroit not included at this time. But if models continue to show what they're showing, I would not be surprised to see the entire state in some type of risk tomorrow. And also that slight risk, I do see that getting extended further down again if models hold. So right now, the entire state I'd say has a risk. We're gonna have to wait until the 1:30 p.m. today outlook to see what the SPC does for that. But looking at some models now, if I go ahead and stop sharing this screen and present my other screen for the models, I do want to show you a few things here on the latest overnight models that we have some concern for. So first off, I want to go over the instability needed. So the instability, also called CAPE, on the surface, and I'll go ahead and bump this forward here to the 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon time frame. You'll start to see these greens and yellows start pushing into the southwestern parts of the state. So the greens and the yellows are what we want to see, because anything over let's say the blue, so into the greens, into the light blues, into the yellows and reds, that is your higher end instability. We want to see our CAPE over 1500 preferably, and this model does throw out anywhere between 1500 and 2500. Now this model likes to overdo moisture, so we could be talking this model in particular could be overdoing this instability just a little bit. But the overall takeaway from this is we have an unstable atmosphere that is forecasted by this model. But here's what I want to point out though. Usually, when the sun goes down, we lose instability, right? Well, usually. But in the presence of tomorrow, we have what we call a low level jet. What that does is basically increase our upper level winds that could transport moisture, but also enhance wind shear. Because of that, we have instability lasting all night. I'll go ahead and show you. This is 5 p.m. currently on your screen. If I bump this forward to 8, you'll see the instability sticks around. 11 o'clock at night, we still have instability here. I'm pulling 2000, right around 2017. 1700, 1800. So again, we do have that moisture supporting the instability into the evening hour time frame. This is 2 a.m. Still having right around 1,000 to 1,500, upwards of 2,000 surface cape at 2 in the morning. So just because the sun goes down tomorrow does not mean the threat is over. And by 5 o'clock in the morning, we still have roughly 1,500 to 2,000 surface cape still present. Now, again, this could be overdoing it just slightly. Overall takeaway between 1,500 and 2,500 surface cape at the peak heating is possible tomorrow. But here's what really concerns me. If I go ahead and flip over here to the 925 millibar, which is the lowest level, about 2,000 to 3,000 feet off the ground, I'll show you this is the wind speeds. Go ahead and bump this forward into the afternoon on Friday. We see the upper level winds are just kind of nosing into the western part of Michigan. So any storms that fire early on the day from, say, anything from the morning hours into the early to mid afternoon hours, the wind shear doesn't really ramp up until after 6 to 8 o'clock. So that may suppress the overall severe threat until after, we'll say, 6 to 8 o'clock. So we may be talking again a nighttime threat. One of the fail modes I want to stress right now, this is what's really throwing the wrench into this forecast. So why it's not a higher end forecast is because we have really good what we call temperature and moisture advection. What that is because we have that low level jet that moves in, we do have a lot of moisture transport happening, which supports the development of showers and storms early on in the day. So when we have those early morning showers and storms, it also makes it cloudy. It also what we call overturns the atmosphere in a way where it kind of sucks and zaps instability right out of the atmosphere. We'll have to kind of wait and see for this afternoon's and morning's models. I'm making this at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I have not seen the morning data. It comes out at 10 o'clock in the morning. We have 10 o'clock models coming out. We have 4 o'clock models coming out. We'll be live tonight at 8 o'clock to discuss those. But also just going over this, continuing this threat here, I want to continue this into the evening hours here. You see the winds start to increase, and by 8 o'clock into 11 o'clock, you see this area of bright yellow pop in. This is your low level jet in the lowest level. So because we have the wind shear, not only in the low levels, but also mid levels, we do have the potential for all hazards if the instability is sufficient for this. So we hope this doesn't come to fruition because it does look concerning. So if we can get the morning storms and afternoon storms, we could be talking a lesser threat in the evening, which is what we hope for. But if we remain dry or if instability can recover after any storms that could form in the morning hours, we could be talking the threat for damaging winds, large hail, and also a few tornadoes possible given the amount of wind shear that increases, especially after the 8 p.m. time frame. So take away from this, conditional severe threat tomorrow, mainly in the evening and overnight hours. Winds are going to be your prominent threat. Hail would be a secondary threat, and then the tornado threat would be dependent, highly dependent on if the instability is there. Again, we'll be live tonight at 8 p.m. to discuss this threat and answer some of your questions, so be sure to join us. If you guys have questions, feel free to message us, comment it, whatever you want. We'll be live on YouTube and Facebook for the live stream tonight. We have chasers out tomorrow. If need be, we'll be streaming any severe weather that happens. So we have you guys covered here. So thank you guys. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was informational for you. If you liked it, give it a huge thumbs up. And we'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock on the live stream.